All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started. So the first thing I want to point out is the resources that Cosential has made available for the new Cosential for Outlook. So if you head out to the Support Center, here in the user guide on the far right, if you click that, you can go to this landing page. So you'll see that the legacy, oops, didn't mean to click, the legacy information here on the left is for the first or second iteration of Cosential for Outlook. If you have Ethnos, it is still working for some people. It's just not supported by Cosential. So if you run into issues or frustrations with Ethnos, then support will not be able to help you with those. If you're using the second, well, I guess the first iteration of Cosential for Outlook, which was a plugin to be able to sync your contacts between your Outlook and Cosential, then that is what they're calling legacy now. So that documentation on the left that I've highlighted down here is the first release, or now the legacy. If you were at the Cosential conference in May, the new platform for Cosential for Outlook that they rolled out that is new and you have to be on the current pricing for is on the right-hand side, and that's what they're calling the new feature. So it's confusing because they kept the same name, CFO, Cosential for Outlook, so just know that Legacy was the first iteration. The new feature is what they released at the conference and what we have access to now. So if you click this, you can download the guide. I have done so here, so you can see that you've got your typical table of contents. It does walk you through how to install it, but just know that when you get to the login screen, if you have not contacted Cosential to have them enable this, it will not work for you. So that is why we are in my real email address today, or my real email inbox, and our real CKC Cosential account, because they only enable it for those who are on current pricing. If you have questions as to if you are on the current pricing and have access to this, reach out to support or your customer success manager, and they will be able to walk you through that. And can you still hear me? We were getting some background noise. I want to make sure that I did not get muted in the process of, perfect. Okay, so that documentation is pretty good. So you can feel free to go out and update that, or download it. You can see that it was updated 21 days ago. You might be wondering why that they updated their documentation, because there's been no communication to us that CFO has been updated. There is a release notes. So if you go back to the main page of the support, if you go up to product updates, you can see that they have not actually given us a recent newsletter. So you can't look there for your product updates. However, if you, let's go back here. If you go out to this main page here for general users, and if you search CFO or Cosential for Outlook, under the header, it gives you certain articles that they've written. One of those is the release notes. So if you click the release notes, here you can see all the different releases that they have rolled out to date. So the first one dates back to June. So right after the well, not right after, but the month after the Cosential conference. So you can see what was in that release. If you scroll all the way down, or click this, because I guess it's, there we go. So it'll tell you what features were released, what bugs were fixed. So the initial release that we had allows you to tag emails to contacts, opportunities, or companies. The caveat with that is that the records already have to be in Cosential. I'm going to walk you through our account and logging in and how to do all of this. I just want to give you all the resources up front so you have them. Looking through, you can see that they have given other features or bug fixes, lag time, things like that. The one thing that I will tell you that they released in July and didn't communicate, which if anybody's been using it, you might have stumbled upon this, is that you can now create contacts in your Cosential account from Outlook. So this was not in the first release, so it is something that has just magically shown up. So we'll walk through how to do that. What I want to caution you about is make sure I have been testing this and have been creating duplicates. So I would suggest making sure that you're logged into Cosential and double check it. What I have found is it creates duplicates if that email address is not there. So it's not checking on first name, last name, it's just checking on email. So there's been some records that haven't had an email address that I go ahead and create in Outlook. And then when I get into Cosential now, there's a duplicate. The other thing that has been added or released is some formatting things like your phone number, parent-child associations, company type. The one thing that you can now do is you can now search for projects. So you couldn't do that in the first release. You can now search for projects by name or by number. Again, they called out that you can create contacts. Now you can do it from the menu. Before you had to search and then say add. It now says that you can, as of the 15th, so 5 days ago, you can create companies. I have not tried this. So I'm not sure how well it'll do. We'll try it out today together. All right, so any questions so far about documentation from Cosential and the release notes and how to get access to the new Cosential for Outlook? I will unmute people so that you can respond, or you can use the chat window as well. Okay, we're going to keep going. All right, so we're going to go over to my email, and let's hope no one emails me in the process. All right, so these are the 3 emails that we're going to work with tagging in our Cosential account. So you'll see here that I have already enabled the plugin. To do so, again, you just follow the instructions. It is now an add-in. Oh, I said plugin earlier, I'm sorry. It's an add-in, not a plugin, which is very different on the coding world. I would show you this, but I'm on a Mac and that's probably not going to be helpful for you. So I would say check with your the manual to be able to actually get to the add-on screen, because again, it's going to be different than what you're going to see on my end. Once you're in the add-on area, you're just going to search Cosential, and then you'll see the Cosential for Outlook, and you'll be able to add it to your machine. They've got the Windows, Mac, and if you're doing it on the web, you can do it there as well. There's some system requirements, oops, configurations, and now we're going to get into what it looks like. So I'm going to flip back over to my account, and we're going to go to this plugin, if it's going to open for me. I had to restart earlier to get this to work. Okay, now it is open. I'm going to go ahead and pin it and go back. Okay, so first I'm going to log in, and we're going to log into our CKC account. Again, if you have not reached out to Cosential, this will not work for you. They have to enable it on their end in order for you to be able to log in here. All right, so you're going to see that I've logged in. I am on an email. I have selected an email. As you select different emails, this is going to change on the panel to the right. So what it is doing is allowing you to see into your Cosential account. It is not syncing anything. It's not pushing anything to Cosential unless you tell it to, and it is not pushing anything from Cosential into your Outlook. So this is just a window into your Cosential account. So over here on the right, it's going to look through the email addresses in the to, from, CC, BCC. It's also going to use machine learning to look through signature lines. If you have a huge thread of emails, they are using AI and machine learning to recognize signatures so that if you have other people, maybe a couple strands down in the thread, that they'll be picked up in this panel on the right. So you can see that your recipients or senders are tagged up here first, and then it goes into companies, call logs, opportunities, and then projects if I had a project associated with this company. So what you'll see is it dismisses me. It recognizes that I am a record, I'm a personnel record in our Cosential account, so it's not going to see me as an option to tag to, which is helpful. So if you have several other personnel, it's not going to pick those up. It's going to pick up external. So Randy is in our Cosential account. So when I click, I can click onto Randy's name and I can look at his information. So again, we're looking at what's live in Cosential. So we can see here that his direct phone number is not in there. We can see that there's call logs associated to him. We can look at the opportunities that are associated. And then obviously I'm the owner for Randy. All right, so if you are rolling this out to users, I personally recommend waiting until they have some of the bugs fixed out. I would just release it to the OFA or some of your super users or your admins so that they can do the testing instead of your users getting frustrated with it. So the way I would train people or train my OFA is to look at this as a trigger for you to go to your Cosential window. So the idea, best practice, is that you have Outlook open on one screen, Cosential open on the other. I am on a laptop and don't have a second screen, so I'm just going to pull it up here. And I'm going to search for Randy. So once I start searching for Randy, you're going to be difficult. Yes, you're going to be difficult. All right, so I'm going to pull up Randy's name. And you can see here that he does not have a direct phone. So that is correct. When we come back here, does not have a direct phone. Does have a business and an email. So I do see it in his signature line. So I would copy and paste this in. There is no way in the current version in order to make this happen from within Outlook. The ultimate goal is to make this happen where when you click his name, there will be an edit button that you can then click edit. It'll pop up a window that you interact with. And then when you'll click save, it'll update Cosential and you'll come back. But you don't, it is not syncing. You are actually in a browser. It's popped up. You edit the record, you go back. So this panel, again, is just a window. So once I come out, it's going to refresh. When I go back into Randy, we should see a phone number. Let's make sure that it updated. It did update here. Off. Now, hopefully it did. No. So in real time, it's supposed to update this. Again, this is another reason why I would suggest waiting, and it's only your OFA that is the one coming in here. Okay, so it's supposed to update that automatically. So you can see the direct phone number that pops up. If you don't want to do any editing right now and you just want to look at it and tag emails, that's fine too. I just want to show you what all you have access to. So I'm clicking back on his email. you'll see over here this little envelope button. I'm going to click it, which means I want it to go to his record, and now it's going to turn blue and have a check mark. It also did it to the company record. So if you tag a contact, it's also going to tag the company. Hopefully this is a little bit more real time. So we're on his record, we refresh, we go down to the bottom, and there you can see the email is now listed. So the lunch meeting introduction with Jody is now here, and the email is now tagged. If I go out to the company record, it should be down at the bottom as well. It is now there as well. Any questions about tagging a contact or looking at the contact information? Unmute everybody. Okay, I'm going to mute this again. So the same thing is true when you click on the company. You can get down into the details, so you can see the details of the company as well as the other contacts associated with that company. You can get into the call logs and then the leads and opportunities. If you want to jump to another contact within that company, you can do that as well. Maybe Andy wasn't tagged on this email, so it's not going to come up automatically, but I do want her to be tagged. From this window, you can tag that individual. You would just click the envelope, it would turn blue, and then it's tagged to that record. All right, so say we click on someone who is not in the system. Oh, I thought for sure these people were not in our system. All right, let me grab another one that I know for sure is not in our system. All right, so looking at Marie's email, it's showing this is Marie, but she's not in our system because there is no email icon. It just has a plus symbol. So this is the new feature where they are saying that you can click that and then create a contact. So this is new as of, what was that, 10 days ago? So looking at this contact window, you'll see it's in the new orange. So it's in the new coding platform. It's going to fill in what it knows. So it filled in her first name, last name. It didn't fill in her company. It also couldn't find it because I don't have her company in our Cosential account. I couldn't find a title in her signature. So it filled in as much or as little as it knows. Again, what I have found is that I would search Cosential first and make sure that this contact is not there before you create a contact, because you are putting yourself at risk for creating a duplicate. As you create, you can make different associations, select your relationship. So most of the fields that you have available to you on the main screen within Cosential are here, including your categories and value list. We're going to go ahead and create Marie. I'm going to go ahead and tag her to an unknown just so that we don't create a new. Actually, let's go ahead and see what happens if it's not in there. All right, so now it's saying create company with current name. So this is new as of 5 days ago. So now we can create, I don't really know what her company name is. We'll go with that. I'm going to click save the required fields. Is that the only thing required? Yes, it is. All right, so now folio should be there. Folio, excuse me. It is. And now we're going to, I don't know that we have anything required. It looks like everything that's required is filled in. So we will go ahead and save this. All right, so now we've been able to create a company and create a contact without ever leaving Outlook. It's going to automatically tag the email, so you can see that it has been tagged with a blue envelope. We're going to go back to Cosential, and now we're going to search, and there it is. So Forleo has been created, and the email address is in there. If we scroll down, the email is there too. Any questions on creating? Is everybody still there? Everybody following along? Did I lose everybody? Okay, it looks like we still have at least one person. All right, so going back to Outlook and what we have available to us. So if you are on a contact that has an opportunity, tagging it is the same way. Click, it'll be tagged to the record. If you want to make the panel go away, you can unclick it once you go, or unpin it, excuse me, once you go to the next email, it will not pop up, it will not be there. To re-engage it, you would click the eye icon, and then you can either interact with it then, push it away, or you can go ahead and pin it, and then it'll stay when you click through your emails. So that is the new Cosential for Outlook at the highest level. I want to make sure that I hit on all of the new features. Oh, searching for projects. It's the same thing whenever you go into the search, you can now search projects. So if you do get emails with client testimonials, we have a project that keeps all of those, and you can tag them to that project record. We're going to go ahead and do that just so we can see where it pops up on the record. So email on the far right, and then you can see my email is now listed. It does not tag that individual to any other part of the record. It just lives within that email tab. All right, any questions on that piece? What happens with attachments, and if someone includes contact updates in a body of an email? What happens with attachments? Attachments to an email. I see where, okay. Let's find an email with an attachment. All right, here's my boarding pass. We're going to add American Airlines. Does it like me that time? There we go. think country was the only thing that was required. All right, so we're gonna create the company, create the contact. The email should automatically tag, and now let's go look it up in Cosential. The attachment did not come through. So attachments would still need to be saved to Cosential. Let's see if they identify anything in here. I don't remember seeing anything for attachments. Let's see if there's anything in the release notes. No. I will ask that question to see if that is something that they have in development or if they are planning on addressing attachments. The contact update in a body of an email. I want to guess at what you mean. So say let's look at a thread. Natalie, since you're asking, I'm going to click on a thread with your name. Here we go. All right, so we're going to look at a ticket. So it's going to find these two people. Bobby is no longer with Cosential. So are you asking, can I update the contact from this window? If that's what you're asking, no, you cannot. So all you would see is, oh, that's an outdated information for Bobby. Let me go back to my Cosential, update it, and then bring it in. If it's a new email address, say Bobby had emailed me, excuse me, from his new employment, or a new employer, then you could go ahead and add it. I would not do that because I would rather move the contact than have to, and then have to merge them or move them and then merge the records. Does that address your question? So, any other questions about Cosential for Outlook? I'm curious, who all is using Cosential for Outlook? No one? Ellen is fantastic. Have you been happy with it? Oh, okay. All right, so now we are going to move into the mobile version. Is there anyone on the call that is using the old mobile version? Close my email. Anybody using the new Cosential version? Okay. So there is some documentation that you can come out to and get the, there's a webinar that you can show for mobile. Different pieces of mobile are out here. The CardReader app, fantastic. So we're going to talk about the differences between the two apps first. So let me share my All right, can you guys see, oops, click the wrong button. Let's try this again. There we go. Can you guys see my kiddos on my screen? Yes, okay, perfect. All right, I'm gonna clean off my desktop so that maybe it's less distracting for y'all. Maybe not. Okay, so there are two Cosential apps if you go out to the app market. On the left is the original, the old Cosential CRM app. Let's keep talking. Let's not go to sleep. So that is the original. It looks outdated. Looks like it's something from the 80s. But this is where you can access the most types of records. The card reader on the right is the newest version. It was originally designed to do just that, read cards and scan cards in. It has now been developed into what will be the new app for Cosential. The thing that it's lacking right now is creating or accessing, you can see opportunity records, you cannot not update them. If anybody was at the conference, Dan showed the beta version of the new release, and it showed a map. Are they going to rename the card reader? Yes, I hope so. I haven't heard. Maybe Cosential 2.0 or something. I don't know. I have not heard. But I do agree that it's confusing. So the card reader app that he showed at the conference shows a really cool map feature. So anywhere that you are currently, you can pull up the app and it shows you all of the projects, all of the people, contacts around you. So that if you are traveling, you can look it up and see who's around you. You cannot currently move the location. So say I'm traveling to Chicago next week and I want to see who's there. I cannot move my location. You have to physically be where your location. Amy said that on a webinar. Diana said that they would be renaming it, but not until all the functionality is in the new app. Thank you. All right, so first we're going to look at the new card reader, and then we can go backwards. All right, so when you, I'm trying not to look at it. Okay. When you log in, you can either do face identification if you have a newer phone. If you have thumbprint identification, you can use that, or you can just type in your answer or your password credentials. I want to say cancel so that it doesn't automatically log me in so you guys can see this. So we're going to log into the same account that we were just in. Oh, that's fun. 1349, that's correct, right? It's going to ask you if you want to enable face or thumb identification. Yes. All right, so it's going to automatically load you onto any cards that you've already previously scanned. I use this app when I'm out at conferences, so you'll see that this is these were the cards that I scanned in from Build Business a couple weeks ago. So you can see all of the cards that you've scanned recently. If you want to, if you have a business card to scan, see if I have one. I did not think I had enough to have, oh, boom, have one. Okay. So we're going to click the picture or the camera in the lower right-hand corner. The first time you do this, you will have to enable your camera. and/or microphone. So I'm going to turn my flash on and I'm going to take a picture. So what you're going to see is it's going to identify where the card is. Depending on the surface that you're selecting, I obviously did white card on white table. If you don't have a drastic difference, sometimes it does get confused, so you can move it around and change where it's reading your card. Once you click done, it will go into the information area. I always like to take the next picture, so you can click to the back, scan the back. Get it to. Okay, fantastic. So done. Now I've got my front and my back of my card. If you don't want to see the vertical card horizontally, you can flip it with the arrow on the right. All right, so now I'm going to put in my contact information. This is where I just drop in where I met them really quickly. Tag your company types. Let's say I'm an active client. And then any mailing list that you might want them to be on. I have it set to where I'm the default for all the owners that I scan. You don't have to do this, so that is in your settings. If you are scanning cards on behalf of someone else, you can change that to be whoever you're scanning on behalf of, or not have it at all, and then you can enter it every time. So I'm going to go ahead and say process. Now you're going to see that it's processing. You can add additional cards, so you can go back in and scan more cards. You can continue to use the app, do anything else while that is processing. Until it says processing, I would not close the app. I made that mistake of scanning it quickly and then moving out. And then when I came back, it still hadn't processed because the process hadn't started. As long as you see that it's green and says processing, go forth and conquer. So on the left-hand side, you'll see the little 3 lines or the burger. This is what happens and why I don't think that it's a great mobile app yet. It crashes often for me. I don't know if anybody else has this issue. If you do have this issue repetitively, or any of your users have this issue, every third installment or update, I have to delete it entirely and add it back. So just know that if you are at your wit's end with the app and it keeps crashing, try that, and then adding it back. If you click the little 3 lines in the upper left-hand corner, you'll see what all you have access to in the mislabeled CardReader app. So you have access to all of your contacts, companies, personnel, soon-to-be opportunities. So if we want to go look at contacts, the one thing I like about the app is the ability to enhance a record. So I'm going to click on Stephanie with the SNPS Chicago chapter. This little wand in the upper right-hand corner goes out to the internet and looks at anything that she has public, Facebook, Twitter, Insta, whatever, and it will pull in her information. Failed to enrich. Fantastic. Can anything go right this afternoon? I thought for sure she would be online. Let's look at Amy. Why not? Yay, her contact is enriched. So what you'll see is that as you scroll down, it went out and grabbed her LinkedIn. So now I can click. It's not letting me click. Oh, here we go. Scrolling down, you can click the LinkedIn, and it's going to open your LinkedIn app and go straight to that person's personnel record. I mean, LinkedIn profile. I have had this misfire and go to the wrong person at that company. So if that does happen, you can go back and up. Uno momento. No. Okay. One thing I will say when using the Cosential apps, either one, oops, have patience. Many much patience. All right, so going back to Amy. I think I skipped you. So if it pulled the wrong LinkedIn, you can go in and click change. So you can push it, or you can go to Cosential and look up Amy's record and change it there. So that is where you can update that. This enhancement is only in new development. So that enhancement feature is in the CardReader app. And I don't know if you saw it, but it was also in the Cosential for Outlook. So if we go back to my email and we'll pull up Lindsay's email. When I am on Lindsay's, oh, she's not in there. I knew she wasn't in there. I don't know why it said she was earlier. If I go to Randy's contact, in the upper right-hand corner, you'll see enrich contact. So that is available within the new development. So Cosential for Outlook and the CardReader app. Yeah, it's me. Let me in. Okay. I wonder if it's because I'm sharing my screen or sharing my. Yep, it was. Okay, let's share my screen again. Oh, people. What did I say? Have patience. I don't have them. All right, is there anything that anybody else is using the app for that you would highly recommend other people use it for? Things that maybe you hate about it? Why is there now 2 business cards? I guess because it crashed in the middle of it. Cool. That processing time does take a while because it actually goes to a human, and that human reviews it and then makes sure that all the information is correct. So hopefully your information is correct 99.9% of the time. Here's the other thing that I will tell you about the app is that sometimes the updates corrupt the information. And what Dan Cornish will tell you is that if you go into settings, resync, if you resync your whatever's causing you issues, contacts or companies or personnel, that will fix things. I often have to do this, so that's why you can see I haven't bothered to download the company information because I had to resync it. And then I always just access the contact information. So my contacts are there and they've been reloaded, but I have not downloaded the company records. It is pretty quick if you do it. I mean, we have 1,000 contacts and it takes like, I don't know, a minute and a half. So I guess if you have 46,000, that's 4.5 minutes. No, that's bad math. That's a lot of time. Maybe it's not a minute and a half. Maybe I just am impatient. I will get. Does anybody have 1,000,000 contacts that they have downloaded? Okay. Personnel. Your personnel record is here. You can go in and look at that information. What a lot of people use this for is you can make a phone call. What I do like about this is that as soon as you make this phone call and you hang up, let's go back to Amy's contact record instead of a personnel record. As soon as you make a phone call, as soon as you hang up that call, it's going to trigger the call log. But that's only if you make the call from within Cosential. If you're just on your phone making phone calls, it's not going to trigger the Cosential app to open a call log. If you call within here, it's going to trigger that call log.